All right, this is Penny's first day of the training challenge. So I made it the training challenge to just really finish off Penny because I'd like to sell her by the end of summer and find her a good home. And I wanted to see how far we could get in the next 3 weeks, and then also show everybody kind of how far we could get in that time period. So she's been ridden at the walk and the trot. So the goal here is to relax her at the canter and work on that mostly. And then she wants to be a little bit spooky, and I want to work on that too. And then just do some confidence in the trailer loading. So I'm just tightening up her girth here, making sure everything's good. And once I was tightening it up, once I have English girth on here, and then once I start to pull it up, I click to her, and then I'll finish putting it up, and then I'll go ahead and give her a treat. So she associates something pleasant with having her girth done up. And I won't do it all the time, but I will do it occasionally. So I like to just take her lead rope off, grab my lunge whip. You can take the halter off or leave it on. Doesn't really matter. This is a leather halter, so if she were to get caught on something for some reason, it's just going to pop off, so it's not a big deal. Check this side. Make sure she's good because I do want to work on her canter. So I'm starting her here in the round pen. This is where I start everybody. I want them to have more of a choice than you would on a lunge line. If you don't have a round pen, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Go ahead and do all this on a lunge line. But I just like to have them kind of have a bit more of a choice. So I asked her to send off, and she was being really lazy, so I'm just going to keep tapping till she goes forward there, and then I'll quit. So she wasn't really giving me much. She walked off, but it was very slow and lazy, so I just kept tapping until she changed and gave me a little bit more forward. Here she just wants to eat some grass, so I just click to her and then have her go forward. So all my horses, no different. Voice cues. So for her, just like to go off, I'll just say walk or walk on, and then to go forward once. And then if she's doing something good, I do the tongue click, or you can use a handheld clicker, or you could not do that part at all. It's up to you. And then for her to trot, I say trot, and then I have 2 clicks. So that's just kind of some of the voice cues because you probably won't be able to hear it on the video. So right there, I said trot, and then she goes right on into her trot. I don't really have to use the whip for her. She is lazy, but she does go into the gate. She just kind of plops along in her gait. So I'm trying to get her to push a little bit more. So I had her go forward here in this spot because this is the side of the round pen where she kind of likes to hang out. It's right by the gate. So I have her do transitions here, and it did rain a ton. So it's a little wet here. So I clicked her when she was trotting on that side of where her field is, and that's telling her that I like the speed of the trot and I like this trot the way it was. So she was trotting nice there. I clicked her, and she'll immediately stop and come and get her treat, and that's totally fine. So I usually just, if I don't click every time she trots, I will click right now since she's solid in the walk and the trot. I will only click the trot when she's really stepping out or starting to step out more and just kind of pushing from behind more. I let her take her treat, and then I wait, and I like to make sure she's completely relaxed and lets down. If she's a little worried, she's not, but I like to just have her lick her lips and kind of just relax. So I'm just going to wait here, let her lick her lips, and then I'll send her off. But I want to be very specific on where I put pressure on and where I take pressure off. And she likes to do the little head shake, and then she'll lick her lips. So this side that's closest to the camera here is where I'm going to ask for all those upward transitions because it's right by the gate. I just moved the round pen over. So half of it is like old dead grass, and they don't really understand that part yet. They rather be on the dirt part. And then it did rain a ton. So there is some mud slick part here in the darker part. And oddly enough, she does live on this other side of the fence here, right by that shelter, but she does want to go out the gate. So it kind of depends on your horse. Your horse might want to go closer to that side if they live over there. You just kind of have to be aware of where they want to slow down and just stop. So I send her back off. I like to start always at a walk and make it like kind of feel her out where she at. And then I will do those transitions by the horse's magnet where they want to be the most. And then I'll just kiss her all the way like that, and I just want her to stretch out in that walk. And then I asked her to trot right there, and she has a nice transition. I just want her to step out a little bit more is what I'm looking for. But I'm not super worried about the trot here. Like, it's a decent trot. I more want to work on the canter. And that's why I'm starting off here in the round pen, because I want her to be somewhat loose and she can just kind of work through it on her own, and she feels safe in the round pen too. So that was a decent trot. So I clicked to her there, and then she'll just come in for her treat. And she just kind of moseys on in, and I'll give her a little handful of grain and let her settle for a second. So letting the horse settle is super important. She doesn't need to settle quite as much as coming back down from the canter as she does at the slower gaits, and that's going to be true for most horses. But I like them to just come back. Like, going faster always creates a little bit of worry in a horse. She wants to chew on my lunge whip here, so I let her chew on it for a second. Then I was kind of worried she was going to bite the end here, so I'm just going to just put my finger in her mouth like I would put a bit in, and I'd be like, okay, let's not eat that. I don't mind if she chews on it. I want her to chew. I want that relaxation where the chewing and licking comes from. So they get a little bit of worry when they go faster. And then I want them to come back, relax, stand still, lick their lips, blow their nose, lower their head a little bit. Those are all signs of relaxation. So I want her to just come back. So then eventually, so I'm going to keep asking her here because she was really lazy again with that transition out, or with sending away. I really want the horse to learn to go up and try and canter and then come right back down and relax. And that coming up and down is going to really help you if something scary jumps out and they want to spook, or just in cantering in general, riding in general, because lots of horses want to get to the canter and they get all worked up, especially her. She's off the track, or other horses off the track. She doesn't really get worked up, but she just needs to learn how to canter in a proper way, I guess. But I want her to come back down and relax, and then they kind of just stay in that like relaxation mode. They're like, oh, okay, I don't need to get worked up. There's nothing scary about this. So I always come back down and relax. That was really nice canter right there. So I'm gonna click to her right there, and she's gonna come in. That like little quarter of the arena was really nice. And that's really what I'm looking for. And that's what I'm doing with the positive reinforcement, is I want to tell her, like, that was great right there. So, like, she had her head in a great place. She was really, like, bringing her hind legs underneath and had a nice, slow, rhythmic canter that was perfect. She usually can hold it a little bit like that, and then it kind of falls apart a little bit going on. So that's what we're kind of working on here. But I just want to cover all my bases, make sure she can do it in the round pen, and then we'll have her lunge out in the arena, and it is wet in the arena, so the round pen was a little bit drier. So it kind of worked out because I wanted to start in there anyway. And then I'm just going to let her sit here and just wait for her to relax and lick her lips. There she's licking her lips. And while she's licking her lips, I'm not going to have her do anything. So I'm not going to ask her to send off. I'm just going to let her be. I'm not going to touch her. I'm just going to let her hang out because I want that, just her relaxing all by herself. And then I'll give her a minute, and then I'll send her off. I do click to her occasionally in the beginning when I'm wanting her to let down like that and relax, and I'll just to tell her, like, oh yeah, this is what I want, and then they'll want to do it more, and then by doing it more, they'll be more relaxed. So there I just had her yield her hindquarters because I wanted her to send out a little bit more and step under herself right there. So I'm just asking her, there she goes. And she wants to stop versus walk out away from me and kind of bend around me a little bit more. That was better. And then I'll try and catch her, and there we go, and go forward. That's all I was trying to do there because she wants to just leave from me really straight and kind of get her hind in a little close. So I'm just trying to have her kind of leave on a bent circle is all. I don't mind too much how they leave away from me as long as they're not too close. And then again, I did the upward transition close to the gate. Decent trot here, have her canter, and she has a decent really canter there, and then she just breaks. I think it's a little muddy right under the tree there, and then when she breaks, she kind of goes into that disjointed trot, and then put her back into it, and then she wants to break right there. So I think it's the footing. She's like, look, I did it. Now I can have my treat. I did not click to her there. So just send her back off. Not a big deal. So I'm gonna there we go. I think she's a little worried about the footing right there, so I'm gonna have her canter a little bit further away from there. There, that's good. So I had asked her kind of by the shade of the tree on the left-hand side to give her a little space before she gets to that dark patch on the right-hand side. And then she had a couple good strides there, so I go ahead and reward her for that. because I want to be like, yes, this is the right answer. I want you to canter, but without having to do a ton of it, because I don't want to get into the canter and then you're cantering, and they're not getting a reward. I want to make them feel like they're always on the right track and they're always doing something right, and they are. And then you just got to work your way up. So I'm like, okay, can you canter a quarter of the round pen? Can you canter half of the lap? Can you canter a whole lap? And just kind of work your way up. Today, I didn't have her do a whole lap just because of the footing in there. It was very, very wet yesterday. There was a puddle right there. So, but other than that, I would definitely do that. I'm just kind of checking my bases here. So, like tomorrow, we're going to be in the arena. And we'll just work up from there. And since it's a different location, again, we'll start just, can you do a little quarter? Can you do a half of the circle? Can you do a whole circle? But if you're going to stay in the round pen, do the quarter, do the half, do the whole lap, do 2 laps, and work your way up from there. And you could do that in a week, or it might take much longer depending on how your horse feels about the canter. And have her do her upright transition here. Very nice. Very good with her head. Ask her canter, very cute. And she wants to fall out of it here. I'm like, I'm okay, I'm not going to push her back into it. I wait there while her canter or her trot was kind of all over the place, and then I put her back into it, and then I clicked her. Because when she fell out of it, she kind of was in a disunited trot and was kind of at her head up. I'm just going to wait till she takes a minute, gets into that relaxed trot, and then gets back into the canter. And then when she has that nice canter, I'll click her, and I'll tell her that was great, that's what I wanted, and she could come in for her treat. So I really just wanted like a quarter of a lap both ways at the canter. If it was drier, I would be looking here. She wanted to get a little close, so I'm just gonna, I don't want to push my energy toward her. I just want to kind of put it up, like, hey, this is my space right here. I'm just kind of move my stick up, my hands up versus at her, so she doesn't feel like I'm coming after her. But if it was dry, I would have tried to at least do half a lap, but since it was wet, it's not a big deal. I just wanted to kind of see where she was in the round pen. I would have done the half a lap or a whole lap, kind of depending on where she was today if the footing was dry. But we'll work on that more tomorrow in the arena on the lunge line. And then see, she has that nice relaxed walk, so then I know that she's ready to trot. And then if she has that nice relaxed trot, I know that she's ready to canter. So then she has that, goes into her trot, very cute. I usually let her go a little bit, make sure her trot's good, and then I go into the canter. So she's telling me if she's ready to go faster. Have her canter, very cute. I want her to stay in a little bit, good. So I clicked her there. She did not stop right before the puddle part. I clicked her right before she got to the kind of uneven footing there. But she stayed almost a whole half a lap there, so that was really nice, and she had a good transition, and she maintained it decently. Because I didn't really want to ask her to maintain it through the slick spot, because that would just be kind of unrealistic for her, and then we're both like, oh, why don't you canter? And she's like, oh, it's kind of scary, so we don't want to push her too much through there. But that's a footing issue, not a training issue. I'm just going to let her, I just want to end her on a good note, wait for her to relax, and then she can be done. If your horse gets super worried at a canter and then they can't like just walk, you want to work on that walk. And I had to work through that with Rhett, my other off the track thoroughbred. He'd get to the canter and he would just get really worried, and then I'd be like, okay, let's walk, and he couldn't walk. He'd want to trot and then get back into the canter. If that's the case, once they're walking, click when they're walking, and then just really make a big deal of the walk. Like, always click and reward that walk, so then they're more balanced to the slower way versus always cantering. You always want to keep them in the middle there. So she's licking and chewing there, very nice. So this is a great place to end. I just want to grab her lead rope, and I just wanted to take her into the arena and kind of hang out in the scary area and make that a good place.